Some people change the world just by living their truth. In the queer Latinx community, these voices didn't ask for permission. They showed up, spoke out, and shined unapologetically. They're more than artists. They're icons of courage, love, and fierce authenticity. These are 10 bold names who turned personal truth into a public revolution and lit the way for millions more. In 2022, Disney Channel made history by introducing its first ever trans character played by Juliana Joel, a proud trans woman of Puerto Rican heritage. It wasn't just a television moment, it was a cultural earthquake. Raised in a conservative community in Florida, Juliana spent her childhood hiding who she was out of fear. But she dreamed of Hollywood not for fame, but to rewrite the narrative. And that's exactly what she did. Beyond acting, Juliana is a fierce advocate for trans rights, especially for Latinx youth. She speaks out about isolation, violence, hope, and the simple, powerful truth: I deserve to be loved like any other girl. Today, she's more than a Disney star. She's a living, breathing inspiration for thousands of queer teens writing their own stories. Manny Gutierrez, aka Manny MUA, was never just about makeup. He was about making space. Raised in a devout Mexican Catholic household, Manny hid his passion for years. But when he hit upload on his first YouTube video in 2014, he wasn't just stepping out, he was declaring war on every beauty standard that said brown boys couldn't sparkle. His tutorials were stunning, yes, but they also unpacked trauma, toxic masculinity, body image, rejection. He made beauty emotional, healing, and personal. And his fans, especially queer Latinx youth, showed up in droves. He became the first male ambassador for Maybelline. Then he launched his own makeup brand, Lunar Beauty, a queer, cosmic explosion of pigment and power. He's faced backlash slurs, threats, lost deals, but he never dimmed. If they're going to call me names, he said once, I might as well sparkle while they do. Manny's not just an influencer. He's a queer CEO, a changemaker, and a glamorized rebellion in motion. If you've watched Pose or the reboot of Queer as Folk, there's no forgetting Johnny Sibili the man with the razor-sharp style, soulful eyes, and even sharper truth. Born in Miami to a Cuban-Dominican family, Johnny grew up in a world where silence was survival. But once he hit Hollywood, he flipped the script, choosing to speak up, loud and proud. On screen, he plays LGBTQ+ characters who are soft and strong, broken yet resilient, but it's off-screen on social media and in real life where Johnny truly shines. He talks about skin color, body image, love, and the pressure to man up in Latin culture. I'm not a perfect representative, he once said, but I'm a real one. In an industry and culture where queer Latinx folks are still fighting to be seen, Johnny Sibili is the spotlight that never fades. Do you love me? If that line from RuPaul's Drag Race is burned into your brain, you already know Valentinoff Mexican-American drag queen with the classic beauty of a golden age film star. But Valentina isn't just a pretty face. She's the intersection of drag, Latinx identity, and fierce, unapologetic femininity. From the iconic red flower in her hair to dresses inspired by La Virgen de Guadalupe, Valentina brings Chicano culture to the global stage, singing in Spanish, performing live, and radiating pride from every pore. People once called her too much, too delicate, too femme. But she didn't dim her light. She looked back and said, being too much is exactly what I was born to be. Today, Valentina is a singer, actress, activist, and the reason countless queer Latinx people can stand tall and say, I am beautiful, I am powerful, I am enough. For years, Pablo Alborán was known as one of Spain's most romantic balladeers, with a voice like velvet, a quiet mystique, and a noticeable silence about his personal life. Then came 2020. In a heartfelt video, Pablo publicly came out as gay for the first time. I feel free. I can't keep quiet anymore, he said. It shook the Latin music world and touched the hearts of millions, especially in countries where queerness is still taboo. Since then, he's continued making music that gently yet powerfully speaks of same-sex love. No flashy symbolism, no over-the-top fanfare, just honesty. And that's what makes it revolutionary. In a world where many stars still hesitate to come out, Pablo Alborán proves that sincerity can be its own kind of rebellion. Kevin Frett didn't have a long life, but in the short time he had, he lit a fire for an entire generation. As the first openly gay Latin trap artista genre soaked in toxic masculinity, Kevin walked in with painted nails, platinum hair, and zero apologies. He didn't ask for permission. He didn't tone it down. He rapped about queer love, self-expression, and freedom with the force of a storm. But in January 2019, Kevin was tragically murdered in Puerto Rico. His death remains unsolved, and many believe it was a hate crime. Still, Kevin hasn't disappeared. His legacy pulses through every queer Latinx artist brave enough to step into the light, in every bold beat that celebrates freedom. In every queer kid listening to his music and whispering, "I can do it too." Henry Jimenez built his career capturing joy through a lens quinceañeras, drag shows, soft light on brown skin. But when he turned the camera toward his own life, the world saw something even more powerful: unapologetic queer Latinx love. Raised in Mexico, Henry's talent first made waves in fashion and influencer circles. His portraits weren't just technically brilliant, they radiated emotion, intimacy, truth. But it was in 2020 that everything changed. That's when he came out publicly and began posting with his boyfriend Glitter, heels, sunsets, and softness. Not everyone cheered. He lost clients, he got hate. But the queer community rallied hard, calling him a visual guardian angel. His TikToks went viral, him kissing his boyfriend in Oaxaca, strutting through colonial streets like a runway, and laughing through homophobic comments with grace. He wasn't just coming out, he was romanticizing joy. And that joy, it was radical. Today, with over 1.5 million followers, Henry uses his platform to mentor young artists, uplift queer businesses, and celebrate queer bodies in all their glory. His style is gender-fluid, unapologetically Latin pearls, Aztec motifs, cropped blazers, and pride flags flying high. Luis Gamarra didn't just break into music, he broke barriers. Born in Bolivia, raised in the US, Luis grew up feeling like he had to choose, be gay or be Latin. He chose both loudly. In 2017, he came out not through a press release, but through a song. A Spanish-language cover of You Will Be Found that he rewrote to speak directly to queer Latinx youth. The video hit home not just in Bolivia, but across Latin America. Suddenly, queer kids saw someone who looked like them, sang in their language, and told their truth. And Luis didn't stop. In 2021, his single, Por Eso Me Voy, became a queer anthem. The video was a colorful ride of drag, traditional dancers, and queer intimacy, a love letter to Latinidad and queerness fused. "I thought I had to choose," he said in an interview, "but now I know being Latin and gay is my superpower." Luis performs with the Bolivian and rainbow flags in hand. He speaks at schools. He mentors LGBTQ+ youth. He even started a nonprofit to help queer South American artists afford music school. If you've seen Eric Sedeno, aka Boy Cezanne, dancing in heels down a Brooklyn street, you've seen joy in its most defiant form. But Eric's not just a viral sensation, he's an artist, a designer, and a storyteller using softness as a weapon. Raised in Texas by a Mexican-American family, Eric grew up learning to shrink. "I was performing someone else's idea of masculinity," he once said. That changed in New York. He found fashion, he found color, he found himself. His TikToks? More than style, they're resistance, queer joy with a Latin soul. One iconic clip, a slow-mo strut to Beyoncé's Alien Superstar, hit 5 million views. The caption read, "Walking like my ancestors couldn't, so I could." In 2022, he dropped a capsule collection blending Chuco culture with queer iconography. The name? El Niño que brillaba demasiado, the boy who shined too much. A name that reclaims every insult hurled at queer Latin boys. Today, Eric uplifts queer creatives, designs fashion rooted in heritage, and encourages boys to cry, sparkle, and feel, because softness, he says, is revolutionary. If you know Brazilian telenovelas, you know they do drama big. But in Verdade Secretas, Rainer Cadet delivered something no one saw coming: queer magic in full emotional technicolor. Before 2015, Cadet was a respected stage actor, not yet a household name. That changed the moment he became Visky, a sharp, stylish, unapologetically gay fashion agent who wasn't comic relief or background noise, he was the story's beating heart. Visky loved, cried, fought, and glittered without shame. And Rainer didn't flinch. His performance felt real because it was. In scene after scene, he didn't just act, he revealed. Suddenly, queer viewers across Brazil and Latin America were saying, "I see myself." And he kept pushing. In Verdades Secretas 2, Visky returned sassier, stronger, sexier, including a now iconic gala scene in a sheer blouse and pearls that set the internet ablaze. Off-screen, Rainer carries that same fierce energy. He rocks painted nails and satin robes. He speaks out for LGBTQ+ rights, and though he hasn't labeled his sexuality, he's never hidden. He once said, "I don't play gay characters, I play people in love, and that should never be shocking." That quote didn't just go viral, it shifted the cultural conversation. Now, he's not just a star, he's a force, a reminder that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is be yourself on national television.